ready. Go ahead, baby. We're live. We're live, baby. Cowboys and Coffee is back. We're here talking about everything. We're doing the Cowboys draft grades. What a time to be a Cowboys fan. Draft is officially over, and we have made it. D, let's just start from the top. What's your Cowboys grade for this draft, for this team?
I'm going to give it an A. We're still looking for that free agent pickup from Oregon. I'm going to put up. I'm going to do the A minus. The A minus, is that higher than an A?
No,
it's not. Okay, I'll do it. Well, I know the minus. I always get them mixed up. I never got minuses anyways.
You never got A's either.
No, I never got A's either. That's another. Well, you know what I'm saying. But I'm going to give them an A because they got players are going to come in and produce.
Okay.
Period.
Okay, they got players going to come in.
Yeah, they're going to produce.
Yes. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to give them a B plus, and part of it's not their fault. I'm going to give them an A minus. Okay. Because you just didn't get the receiver that I think they need as a receiver too. If they had been able to take T-Mac, who's now a Panther, instead of Tyler Booker, I think it would have been an A-plus draft.
And we mentioned, we always try to put the percentage where he was going to go with those teams. And we discussed Charlotte because they needed defense. And I said, I did mention they might want to throw to somebody. I think it's crazy they did that, but that's their business.
Right.
They're going to be last in defense again. Well, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right. So the Cowboys made do. They took Tyler Booker at 12. Now, to me, it's rich for a guard, but they seem to want to make sure that this has the feeling of a Schottenheimer draft. He has tried to rebuild the offensive and defensive line. That's what they've done through free agency. That's what they've done through the draft. And how could you be upset if that's what your team wants to do? That's a good thing. Those are good keys to build on. Offensive line is tough. Defensive line is tough. They went out and they've signed and re-signed and drafted defensive linemen now to have a much better run game. Another pass rusher they got. Tyler Booker had a very low RAS score, and I talked about it previously about how he was not a great athlete. I'm not sure he would work for the Cowboys scheme. Upon further research, the Cowboys recently drafted a center who had an RAS score under 2.92. His name was Travis Frederick. And that boy could get out, move and pull and do anything. Oh, he was fantastic. Yeah. And we've talked about this privately. You draft football players, not necessarily athletes. Tyler Booker is a football player, and he likes to maul people. He's an excellent blocker, pass blocker, run blocker, and he's going to come in and start that right guard position day one. Now, there are options to the Cowboys kick, Tyler Smith, the left guard, Tyler Smith, the left tackle, Booker, the left guard, BB at center, Hoffman or Bass, a right guard, and then Tyler Guyton, the right tackle. I don't think that's what they'll do. I think Guyton, you're going to have to earn it with this coaching staff to left tackle, Steele's at right tackle, Booker and Smith are the Great Wall of Tyler, your guards, and Cooper, BB, your center for the year, and kind of roll from there.
I guess you can do a law firm, Tyler, but we got to think of another nickname that'll fit that. The Great Wall of Tyler.
Great Wall of Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler, I don't know, Bondsman or something.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about the draft itself. They broke these guys down and into their own individual abilities to contribute to this team. But here's the characteristics. Team captain. Team leader, love football. These things are, I don't know, because they already asked him about Booker, about having a YouTube and have his own little thing. He really wasn't into that. He's like, I'm coming here to prove myself. That's what I want to do. Now, Parsons, about him and his shows and stuff, this question there, okay, I get on it.
It's 15 sacks. I'm not going to complain. Questions,
but that's for another, we can debate on who comes on that show or me, but that's for another thing. But in other words, these guys blew They said they love football.
Yeah.
And I've always told you for years, I think some of them loved it. I wasn't, Tony Romo was a competitive in checkers and chess and, throwing a garbage away a can, all that stuff. I get it. But I think these guys, they love football. That means a good solid start of how to execute a game plan.
A lot of the guys,
because that's what it has to be.
Yes,
I love to execute the game plan.
A lot of the guys they picked are football fanatics and captains of their teams. And I know Jason Garrett had the right kind of guy, but these guys are football tough too. They're not just good guys. Which, Isaiah Bond fell out of the draft because of a sexual assault claim, and now they're like, oh well, Cowboys should get him. By all accounts of Brian Schottenheimer, those are the types of guys that they will not. Second Chance Valley Ranch is over here, at least while Shotty's running the show. Tyler Booker's their pick at 12, and you can complain about the value, but I look at Bill Belichick years ago, and he got Logan Mankins at the end of the first round
from Utah.
And yes, and they criticized that pick, and we could have got him in the third round. Ended up being a borderline Hall of Fame guard, one of the best guards of his generation. There's no complaints. If Tyler Booker plays that well, then he's going to be another great pick. The Cowboys have earned the right to say this is a guard we believe in, right? How many guards and offensive linemen in the last 10, 15 years they picked? Tyron Smith's a Hall of Famer. Zach Martin, perhaps the greatest offensive lineman ever, maybe the greatest guard ever. At worst, the third, right? Larry Allen, Johanna, and Zach Martin are the three greatest guards of all time. Pick your poison for who's third. And then you also have Travis Frederick, who could have been a Hall of Famer. Tyler Smith has a great start to his career. The jury's still out on Tyler Guyton, but we'll see with this Tyler and see where he goes. Second round, the Cowboys come back with Donovan Aruzawaku. Say that 10 times fast. The DN, which people think these two day two picks, Cowboys got tremendous value. A lot of people like Dan Brugler had him as a first round pick. I saw some people had him ranked as high as 12th overall on their boards, their big boards. I love the pick. Great bend, great flexibility. He is actually one of the best pass rushers as far as footwork goes, which I think is a big thing, having footwork and pass rush skills. He's flexible. He'd get after the quarterback. Where are you with that pick?
Well, go to the tape. Go to the tape.
Go to the tape.
Go to the tape of watch him play. And he's got 6 or 7 moves. And that's what you want. He will get stronger as well and not lose the moves. He's another one who was, I believe, the Ted Hendricks Award, which awards in college don't always mean anything, but it does. It's on his resume.
Yeah.
On his resume. Those are not fake 16.5 sacks.
No, in the ACC.
He ate up those tackles. And he's good against the run.
Yeah, and he's going to.
Who would you compare him to? Is he Jason Taylor?
That style, sure, yeah. It's tough to say. Is he a Hall of Fame?
Right. But I mean, the style. We always talk about the style, but
yeah,
I think
stylistically, he's got a little more bend and flex in his game, maybe than that.
Because Taylor was not 255 when he came in the league.
No,
he was 240.
No, maybe more like a Robert Mathis type player, but those guys were speed guys. Dwight Freeney was speed, but he could bull rush you too. It's tough to play that. But he definitely is a refined pass rusher. He comes in, and the big benefit for him is Micah Parsons is on the other side. He's going to, and it's tough to say as a rookie they're filling these roles. They'll develop into these roles, but he takes over for Tank Lawrence, who was great against the run, but wasn't putting up sack numbers. This is a guy who can put up double-digit sack numbers, opposite of Micah Parsons, and cause problems for defenses. If you have two guys who are putting up double-digit sacks, it really changes the quality of your defense. The Giants won 2 Super Bowls in the 2000s because they had great pass rushers. And this is what Dallas is trying to build, another pass rushing weapon, as well as re-signing Dante Fowler Jr., or signing him back, I guess, re-signing Osa. Like, they're trying to get after the quarterback again with their D-line and letting Eberflus let the D-line get after the quarterback from there.
Well, they have depth. And they got somebody. They got a couple people now that are going to come in, and if Parsons gets 11 sacks this year, that means 2 other players are going to get 10.
Yeah, that would be huge if you have 3 guys with double
Right.
digit sacks. I mean, the Cowboys D-line, Dante Fowler Jr., Micah Parsons, Marshawn Nealon, Sam Williams, Aruzawaku, Peyton Turner. Those are your DNs. That's some depth right there. We'll see what Peyton Turner is. He might be a project. And then you have your D tackles as Mozzie Smith, Oso Digizua, Solomon Thomas, and a couple other draft picks who we'll talk about here in a minute. And Spencer said Tyler Booker's a bully, which we needed, which yes. And we'll get to the Siobhan Ravel comment in a minute. Nakia said Philly D-line just dominated the Super Bowl. Everything starts at O-line, D-line. Absolutely. And that's the exact thing for the Chiefs too. The Chiefs, when their offensive line clicks, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. When they can't keep him upright, we've seen it against the Eagles and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Well, it just looks so disjointed. It looks insane. So the Cowboys have worked on their own line, worked on their D line, and that's really what they're at. And I like their Rose. I think the Zerawaku, Zerawaku. It's hard to pronounce name.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an excellent pick in that second round. Round 3, we come back. I wanted this guy. I told you in the second round. He falls to the third round. Siobhan Ravel Jr. Spencer says he doesn't want to go work at Amazon again. He's hungry. He was working at Amazon overnight to work his way in. He had some eligibility issue with his grades, but worked hard and came back. And now we're talking about a guy who's 6'2", 200 pounds. The Cowboys team doctor did his knee surgery, so they got the all clear.
Okay, everything there is check. Off the ball, on the ball, good against the run. And that's what you need on that side of the field, because we're going to need somebody on the inside. Bland goes back inside. And I almost said Missy Diggs. I shouldn't have said Missy Diggs. But Diggs coming back healthy.
Yes, Diggs coming back would allow these 3 guys. His nickname is the Condor. His wingspan. His wingspan is, he almost has like his 32 and 5/8 inch wingspan, which is like D lineman. A reach, not wingspan, but that's the reach, which is very long arms. We have to stop mocking short arm cornerbacks to the Cowboys. And please note it next year, whenever you start looking through the cornerbacks and who the Cowboys are going to pick, they don't take cornerbacks with short arms. Will McClay's not having it. This guy could be the steal of the draft. He has incredible ball hawking skills, which the Cowboys also seem to have a knack for that.
Yeah, this is where you look at it and say, listen, it's the steal, third round. He had first round ability due to the injury. He drops. The doctor's right there to clean it all up. And this guy is a gamer. He's just pure gamer. And again, anytime when your corners can tackle the football, that means they're not getting to the corner outside and get big runs on.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
This might be the steal of the draft. You know, you lost Jordan Lewis. He goes to the Jags. We understand he did his time. He was loved as a Cowboys player. He worked hard. And you need someone else who will step in. We knew they needed to address that cornerback position. And they got a guy who can be a starter and has Pro Bowl caliber talent, physical ability. And he's coming in with Matt Eberflus, so he said he's already connected with, worked well with. They're both on the same page as far as what he does well and what he needs to clean up. Like, this is the guy and this is the defense for him. And I think he's definitely a great pick there at 76 overall for the Cowboys. Nothing in the 4th round. They come back in the 5th and they get Jaden Blue running back out of Texas. And this boy can fly.
He is.
Fly. He's the speed that they need in the backfield. Now, they did double up later at running back, which I told you is a 2 running back draft for the Cowboys.
Son, you called it. Absolutely. You kept yapping about it. I didn't think they would go twice.
Blue's a little smaller, but he can. We talk about football speed and breakaway speed. We talked about Matthew Golden around at 4.29, but didn't play like that in the field. Jaden Blue plays at that speed, and when he gets a seam, he can fly and take it from anywhere.
All right, are we going to give some credit to Spence? He did mention on the show about the Cowboys first round.
He did. I think he was trolling, but whatever, he said it.
He called
Spencer
it.
said they're going to pick a lineman in the first round. He's going to hate it. I don't know if he hates it anymore, but the Cowboys in the past have earned the right to say this lineman is going to be good. He's going to be a phenomenal player. And I think that's why I have to give him better than that.
And I think as Spencer says, the Detroit running back Gibbs, that's a good comparison. I think Gibbs is 6'1", right?
A little bigger, yeah.
He's a little bigger.
Jared Blue's only about 5'9".
Yeah, but that guy, and he's tough.
Yeah,
he's tough. He's.
I'll skip over a couple picks and go to the 7th rounder with Phil Maffa. The Cowboys also drafted him from Clemson. This is another team captain. He's 6'1", 235. I mean, he is the thunder to Jaden Blue's lightning. Those are the two guys who I think both make the roster. And then I think either Miles Turner or Javonte Williams, I think it's Williams, who will make it
Sanders.
Sanders. Yeah, that's what I thought. What did I say?
Turner.
Miles Sanders makes it. Javonte Williams. I think Williams is the other back. Phil Maffa is the third back. And you kind of go from there.
I think the league is going to a 2-back system, and the running game is coming back.
That's without question. So the Cowboys double dip at running back. We weren't sure how early, whether it was Caleb Johnson, Cam Scattybo, like where were they going to go? They have picked two guys who have definitive roles, who are a little different, but they can get the job done, I think. But Gibbs only 5'9", Spence says as well.
5'9".
He's only about 7 pounds heavier.
Huh.
Cowboys in the 5th round trade back up with Arizona to go get linebacker Shamar James. Now, this is a guy who is going to pair well with that depth they have in the linebacking core. He is very fast. He's a perfect fit for Matt Eberflus's defense. You know, him and Sam Ward and Overshown when he gets back. These guys are meant to fly around. The D linemen gobble up and get after the quarterback. These guys go sideline to sideline. James can be a blitzer. He has to read a little bit more and process a little faster. But I like him a lot with Matt Eberflus, who can develop
whose resumes with the Cowboys and the Colts with Leonard and Carter when he was
the Bears defense too.
And the Bears. His resume is impressive of bringing people in and teaching the game of football. He's a teacher. This is not a philosophy. He's a teacher. Well, a philosophy, he's a teacher, but he teaches his play. They're smart defensive players. And the Florida guys quietly, he might be like a typical Dallas Cowboy linebacker of Darren Smith,
right?
Dexter Coakley,
6'1", 229, but he can move across.
D.D. Lewis, they were there for years. Right. Dave Edwards, these outside linebackers that do their job and never make a Pro Bowl, but they start every year.
Yeah.
D.D. Lewis.
They felt comfortable enough trading back up into the 5th to get him there.
Yeah.
They wanted him. In the 6th round, they take a Johnny Cornelius, tackle from Oregon. Now, he had been a 3-year starter at Rhode Island and then transfers to Oregon and starts there all year last year, let up 3 sacks. He has some position flexibility, whether it's guard tackle. And that's what the Cowboys have signed Sadiq Charles. They have backups now with Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass. Like they have thrown Asim Richards, a lot of assets on the offensive line. Cornelius might be a practice squad player to start, but at least he provides you with another body, a young body there to kind of mold and shape, right? The Cowboys have Clayton Adams as their offensive coordinator, who is their he's really an offensive line coach by heart, but he's the new running game coordinator. And then they have Connor Riley as their offensive line coach, and he was a great offensive line coach at Kansas State. He's the guy who helped mold and shape Connor Beebe. You were saying a story about him earlier.
He mentioned about converting him from defense to play Saturdays to offense so he can play Sundays.
Exactly. So
he said it then.
Right.
He wasn't even a pros.
Right. And look at him now. He's had a good rookie season.
And he started center in the NFL.
He didn't play center in college. So there's a lot to like about the Johnny Cornelius pick and see where they go from there. Round 7, We already talked about Phil Maffa. Before him, they picked a guy who I think might be a pet cat for both of us, which is Jay Toya, who is the D tackle from UCLA, who just loves to hit and play football and stuff the run. He was part of one of the best run-stopping units in all of college football last year in UCLA.
And let's talk about Mozzie,
Mozzie.
Right? Mozzie. They made him lose 30 pounds the first year, 20 pounds. Then they come back, and this third. That's the type of player that he's supposed to be stuffing the run.
Right. Those are the two guys that should be.
I don't know if he makes the team.
That's a great question.
I don't know if he makes the team.
I think he'll make the team.
I don't know. These guys are coming from college. The guy from Maryland, 6'4", 320.
Yeah, Tommy Akingbasode. Yeah, God bless me. That's the guy they picked from Maryland later in the 7th round. They went to stop the run. That's what they picked up.
Right, he's 6'4".
Is he that big?
He's 6'4".
Yeah, 6'4", 320.
6'4", 320 is a big man. He's not on the offensive side of the ball. He's not a guard. He's a defensive tackle. You drop 10 pounds on him a little bit, and he's still get strength. He'll be faster.
And I've seen Jay Toya. Some people had him as high as a 3rd round grade, so he can stop the run. He pushes the pocket a little bit. He's certainly not Aaron Donald. We're not saying that he's not an elite D tackle prospect at the moment. But what we are saying is we all knew they had to stop the run. They put some picks. You say, well, Paul, those are late round picks at D tackle positions. Well, they do their job, and they've done their job, and they're excellent at that. I was looking at someone like a Nazir Stackhouse to be picked. But you know what? These guys do the job too. And I'm okay with what they did to make these picks. The Cornelius one and I think Akingbasode are the two guys that I think are practice squad players. I think the rest of them, they could all be playing. Right, there's 9 picks, so they traded up out of the 10.
Yeah.
I think 7 should make the roster, and 2 I think will be practice squad guys year 1 and see what they can develop into. And we'll see. Maybe Phil Maffa's a practice squad guy too, depending on what they get out of their running back. They released Malik Davis. They waived Malik Davis earlier today.
Did they? Yeah.
So it makes it seem like they're going to roster these guys and run forward.
Right, they're going to keep them.
With them. And we'll see. They also let go of Tony Bostic, the offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. So, there's spots opening up on the practice squad. They're at their 90 limit. They're doing what they have to do to build out this roster. The big question that is on the front of everyone's mind is wide receiver 2. Now, the Cowboys went out and they got a new wide receiver coach in Junior Adams. No relation to offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, by the way. One's black, one's white, and they're not related.
One black and white.
Junior Adams is a highly touted wide receivers coach. Jalen McMillan from the Buccaneers and Rome Odunze from the Bears. They both were trained at Washington under him. Puka Nacua and Cooper Rush both sing his praises as the best in the game.
That's on his resume.
Tez Johnson, who just went in this year's draft, he is not a great playing speed, but he was an excellent receiver. Right. He's a ball player. He's not fast on the field, off the field. That's another player who sings his praises, says he's the best in the business. Now he's going to get Jalen Tolbert. He's going to get the rest of the Cowboys roster. Right? CD is CD. Who is linebacker 2 for the Cowboys? And how do we decide? Is Jonathan Mingo going to get anything? Turpin's going to get play. Is he going to be anything more than a 3rd receiver, a 4th receiver, a deep threat? They have to fill this role. What are their options? What's the best option for you going forward?
Well, if we can get each game, give me a 2.
I said Cooper Rush. I meant Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
If it varies from game to game, who picks up the number 2 thing? Because I do remember a team when we have Dak Prescott, we believe in. Yes, I think he's a good quarterback. Not Tom Brady, we understand it. But Brady didn't have superstars.
Correct.
And the superstar he did have, they didn't win, technically.
Right.
He went to the Super Bowl, I guess.
Sure. And Patrick Mahomes has won a Super Bowl with Tyreek Hill and you and me, a wide receiver, too.
Yeah. So it's about production, not flash numbers. But I think we're going to get better with that. And I don't know if we'll have a number 2. I think we'll have 2 threes, 3 threes,
Well,
and a better tight end.
Yeah, Ferguson, by all accounts, had a tough go coming back last year from the concussion. He never fully recovered,
Right.
and that we know he had a down year. So the Cowboys' number 2 other options, I tell you who I'm not touching at all is Keenan Allen. He's not a speed guy. He's a possession guy, but he's slow as dirt, and I don't think you could. I think it's time for him. He's
all
not
those receivers are Hopkins, top
right,
and those guys.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
the Cowboys talked about Amari Cooper. We loved Amari Cooper. I think he's 31 when the season starts. It's time for him to move on too. I think, or to move past Amari, because I don't think it's going to give you number 2 stats. I don't know that he's going to do it out there on the field. I mean, listen, we know he has the comfortability and the rapport with Dak, so that would definitely help. CD is the legit number 1, so that role is settled. What do the Cowboys do? If I'm the Cowboys just got 2 fifth-round comp picks for next year from their free agent signings. I maybe try and make a move for DJ Moore, wide receiver from Chicago. There's been rumblings about them looking to trade him. Would I trade a 3rd rounder for DJ Moore if Chicago will pick up the tab?
Sure.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick up some of the millions they owe him because I'm not paying that price. But if he's wide receiver 2, now I feel much more comfortable letting everyone out. Tolbert, Flournoy, Mingo battle for 3 through 5, 3 through 6 on the roster. And whatever happens, happens. Whoa, excuse me.
Well, they go to camp. That Mr. Adams, Coach Adams, works with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think, do we have a clear what number 2 is on this team? No. But we have 17 games to figure all that out. What do we give up to get a player? That's the key to it. Right.
And I'm not giving up big money or I'm not really giving up big assets for guys who are problems. George Pickens, we've talked about, he is a troublemaker through and through, and he just does not fit the organizational structure of Schottenheimer. You're not having that. Not putting up with a selfish player, not putting up with a guy who's going to be complaining. I don't know about Tyreek Hill. If he's available, the Dolphins are in a weird place where they may have to go into a full rebuild. We'll see where they're at as far as the rebuild goes. Are they going to go ahead and make a move to move on?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what type of draft this is. Who did they draft 1st round? Dolphins.
D lineman Kenneth Grant from Michigan.
Okay.
2nd round, they draft offensive lineman. Their run defense was horrific last year. Mm-hmm. Their offensive line stinks, and they lost their best offensive tackle.
Right.
So, I don't know that I trust them to compete with. Can they beat the Bills?
I think they could pick Hill off from the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Would you give up a number 1 for him?
No, not at this age. No.
What do you mean this age?
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is currently.
Does he look like he's slower to you, Paul?
He's 31. He's also born on my birthday, March 1st. Shout out. It doesn't matter.
I give up a number 1 for him.
For how many years? For 3 years?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
They gotta chew up all that money.
I would give up a number 1 for him.
I don't know that I'm giving up next year's number 1 for Tyreek.
I would give up next year's number 1.
No, I'm not giving up a number 1 for an older player.
If he's 35, yes. 31, you still got in a Cowboy uniform.
No, you don't trade that for court. Look what DK Metcalf got. He got a 2nd round pick for DK Metcalf.
Well, Hill is explosive with a 2-yard pass.
Yeah, but you still don't like.
I'm in the war room. I'm telling Jerry, go to Miami. Say you'll give up a number 1.
They already have a history of giving up number 1s for receivers. Roy Williams, Joey Galloway. Like, enough of trading number 1s. You don't need to trade a number 1 for a receiver in a team that's rebuilding that needs assets. They need to bottom out and trade for not elite money. Randy Moss went for a 4th round pick, right? Stephon Diggs went for a 5th and a 6th.
What would the Cowboys' offense would be with Hill in the lineup?
It'd be something. Calvin Ridley went for a 5th and a 6th. AJ Brown went for a 1st and a 3rd, but he was 24 years old, 25 years old.
What Cowboys' offense would be?
It'd be incredible.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill got traded for a 1st, a 2nd, and a 4th, and the 4th and a 6th. Again, that's how many years ago? It's 3-4 years ago.
Miami would be crazy to turn down a number 1 first-round pick for him.
Devontae went for a 1st and 2nd. Amari went for they get that Cowboys shoot a 6 for Amari. You know, I'll offer you a 2nd round pick. I could do a 2nd for him. Jimmy's already in Florida. Send him to get Tyreek Hill, and we'll get him for a 3rd and a future 5th. Fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trading no 1st round pick though. I'm just not sending out those assets for a guy who's, if he was 28, I would do it. Not 31.
I don't think 31 makes him old.
Well, he's diminishing returns going forward.
I don't think he's old. I think he's still a game breaker, and he's a game breaker for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
3 years is a lot of damage you can do.
He's already played 9 years in the NFL, but that's a lot of wear and tear in that body.
You can win back-to-back Super Bowls with him.
He can definitely fly. There's no doubt about it.
Put that in your resume, back-to-back.
Yeah,
I put it up there already, huh? Back-to-back.
Yeah, listen. Spence said that speed ain't 31.
The speed ain't 31.
I know, but 1st round pick. I'm not spending no 1st round pick if there's other receivers on a trade market.
That's the splash that we haven't done for a while.
That depresses the market.
That puts it over the top of that offense.
The Cowboys always overpay to get the receiver, and then they don't extract enough if they're trading a player. Right? That's the way they do it. They overpay, and they have been overpaying for receivers since they traded for Joey Galloway. A 1st round pick is not what you need to trade. I'm not trading a 1st round pick. I'll give you a 2nd, I'm not giving you no 1st.
Okay, well, you would trade for him.
Yes, I would trade for Tyreek Hill.
Get him on the team. Give up on him.
Absolutely. Him and CD Lamb. Woo! You just go routes all day.
I'm telling you.
And the thing is, you could put either one in the slot. CD in the slot, Tyreek on the outside, on the same side of the field. Where are you doubling? Where are you going? That's what you put in
carve up the field. You put an all pro in your lineup.
Right. Right. I can see that. Listen, twist my arm.
I'll call Dolphins right now. I'll do that prank call. Just do the prank call. How did these guys get those numbers, by the way?
So apparently the son got the number because his dad had left it out on like a iPad, because they have the numbers of the players to contact when it's the time. Some of these guys, how CD the day of has his 2 phones, right? Yeah. And his girlfriend has the phone, and he just like snatches that thing.
Yeah.
Even though he's on his phone.
Yeah.
Well, they have these phones, for draft day that really only a few people are supposed to have the number to, so they can be contacted in case they're called. Well, the son goes in and sees it, picks up the number, and prank calls him. The Falcons just got fined $250,000, and the dad got fined $100,000.
Okay, I'm kicking that son out of the house. Son, pack your clothes. Monk, Spencer's leaving, Paul's leaving, or Zach, wherever it is. Zach did it. He's the IT guy. Zach, you have to leave. Get in your car. Get out.
Yeah, so that's
a lot of money.
$100,000 now. Jeff Holbrook's making $1.6 million.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
But I'd rather make 1.6 than 1.5.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It is
$100,000 to an individual.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
When you're a coach, not a player.
Yeah, that's a lot of money coming out.
That's a lot.
Yeah, in an organization, and it's bad on the organization. And the kid, I don't know if he has said an apologies or something.
So he said an apology, and people looked it up, and it looked like it was written by AI, a computer. It's not sincere. So I mean, you can't do anything to the kid because he doesn't.
Oh, you mean like when I talk to your mother?
He doesn't work for the NFL. But let me tell you something. If I'm dad, whoo,
oh boy,
you ain't coming to Thanksgiving this year, Jack.
No.
You're paying for your own school from here on out, buddy.
Jack. You're off the will. Get the lawyer. Get his name off that will right now. Take that name off the will. So there's 3 sons going to get money The fourth one ain't getting nothing. Yeah.
You know, I'm interested to see.
You get that old bag of dog food.
You're
Wow.
getting coal for Christmas, buddy.
That's
So that's
Oh,
a
they
lot
must-
of money for an
Yeah.
individual to find 100,000. Now, apparently, this has been happening to other players. Tyler Warren got prank calls.
right.
Abdul Carter. You know, these teams have to do a better job of if they're getting these private
I
numbers.
hope to get after those people. Yeah.
Absolutely, if they,
Yeah.
you know, because it was embarrassing to Shador, and that's a whole different thing. But the kid's obviously going through it. Whether he deserved that or not, that's a whole different story. He was going through it, and you're coming in and recording it and just dunking on this poor kid who's, you know, it's inhumane. You know what I mean? It's cruel. At the time, the guy's trying to figure stuff out. You know, obviously it's depressing for him. And he's a grown man. He's made his bed. He's got to sleep in it. But it's outside the scope of what's appropriate to. You want to go online and say, "Oh, you stupid idiot," whatever, and crucify him on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
That's your right. It crossed the line. It was personal.
Yes.
It was visceral.
Yeah.
It was
that word,
outside of what was appropriate for, you know, getting somebody or joking on them. And it wasn't a joke. You know, he didn't laugh at it later. You know, you're stringing this guy along. So, you know, the Falcons have been fined several times for a lot of things they've done, whether it's pumping in fake noise, whether it's the Kirk Cousins deal. Like, they have an organization the last few years been fined a lot.
Well, who was the pumping in the? I thought it was the Colts.
Well, the Falcons were also fined.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. So it's not their first time. It's not their first time. So they've had it several times. So I have to look up what it is, but they've been hit several times with controversies, and just surprising their organization the way they've been run, and the fact that also happens to the son of one of your stars, like your all-time stars, like
Right.
Deion's has had an iffy relationship with Atlanta for years,
Right.
apparently, and can't imagine he's going to be making that right soon. Something's up with Deion right now. He's on a different level, right? He just has turned in the last few years of Deion, and a different Deion than what we saw, say, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I understand part of that's pumping up your kids, part of pumping up your organization, your team, your college, university, whatever. I think he should have stepped in and helped his son better through the process. You can act like that when you are the best cornerback in football.
I said to you, what
Hall of Fame caliber, right?
Son, you're not me. Go be you. Go earn it. And I'm here for you. Need me. That's how you do it. Look, Elway's father was one way. I get all that. It's not my style. You know what I mean? It's not my style. You guys had to earn what do you ever earn. I'm sure other fathers with their kids who are good athletes go earn it.
What were those interviews like? Was he like reading Mein Kampf? Like, what were those interviews?
Well, he was
like?
being a jerk. Let's face it. You know.
How do you feel?
You've had an interview. You know what it's like. Yeah. And then you're all like legendary and all this stuff. And it's pretty obvious.
How do you feel you're going to fit in this team? Like what? Like
right? Just
idea that he heard that he was taking a phone call during one of the interviews and took the call on speakerphone, like just crazy stuff.
Right.
Now this is not Cowboys talk, but it's Deion talk. But
that's all.
If
you're not me,
pick,
son, go in those interviews, be the best Sanders you can be, and get all that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, take the Sanders name and go
and
earn your own name.
Bet would he have got drafted earlier? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't. Was it first round? No, but it wasn't. What, fifth?
Fifth.
It wouldn't have been fifth.
Yeah, someone probably would have taken a flyer on him earlier.
And let's not forget, and we have to say it. We're touching on it. He's what a team has 5 quarterbacks.
Deshaun's probably out for the year.
Yeah.
You got Flacco, Kenny Pickett. They just drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, and then they come back for Shador.
And that Gabriel gets paid, doesn't he? 3rd round.
Yeah. So there's no guarantee he's even. And what you need to develop at that position is snaps, and that's the issue. Like, Shador's going to win that outright. Like, I don't know that he does win outright, and I don't know that as a 5th round pick you want him to win it outright. You really want him to sit and to learn. Can he learn, be the number 3 there? Or is he going to have to go somewhere else already in his career to kind of get some snaps?
And it's not fair to compare him to other players because your argument with other players is both sides of it. Nobody thought Brady would be a legend.
Right.
Nobody thought he was going to be a legend. The true Troy Aikmans and Elways with their arm strength and their ability were incredible off the charts.
Right.
So you're surprised they won Super Bowls, which doesn't guarantee it, but those guys
won. They had the mental makeup, they had the physical makeup, they had everything.
Yes. Rose Bowl winners.
Right. Yeah. So, all right, that's our 40-minute podcast today. Listen, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're still looking to push our subscription numbers up and continue to move and push for the Cowboys and Coffee podcast. You know, we got merch here we want to give out. We want merch you got to sell. We've got Cowboys and Coffee, like stickers for your computer, like whatever. We got stuff here we want to push out to you guys. We can find us on Designated Report. You can find us on Instagram through that, and right here on our YouTube channel for the Cowboys and Coffee podcast. I was sipping my coffee here. I needed this.
I had it when I came down here.
Phew! Needed this. Son number 3 is 7 weeks old, and he has gone. He was sleeping like 7 hours a night at
one
first.
technique. That's his nickname.
Yeah, he is the Duke. We call him the Duke.
Duke, yeah.
No, the Duke.
The Duke, yeah.
So we have Zeus, Moose, and the Duke.
Yes, that's right.
So
I have to have a shout out to Billy Pila, who we lost last week. I grew up with him. We had a lot of fun together growing up in the 70s. So I love you, Billy.
Yeah. And that's it for today. That's who this one goes out to. So listen, thank you guys for stopping in. Find us on Designated Report. You can find us at designatedraport.com or on Instagram or on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want. And the Cowboys and Coffee podcast here on YouTube. Soon to have our own Twitter page, Twitter handle, and go from there. We'll put stuff out constantly. And soon we'll have RJ Ochoa on from Blogging the Boys and Connor Livesay, who does a great job with the draft, talking about the Cowboys draft, talking about the Cowboys future and what they got from there. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. D, love you.
Love you.
All right. Peace.
Bye.